we're trying to show you how to differentiate the difference between the Frick Sawmills. There's basically 4 sizes of Frick Sawmills, but there was a number 2 and there was also a number 3, which are fairly not too common. These are number 1s here. There are 2 of them here, and I'm going to show you some of the differences in the different size mills. The biggest difference when you're going to the different sawmills is a double aught will have a 3-inch belt here, a single aught will have a 4-inch, a aught 1 will have a 5-inch, and a number 1 will have a 6-inch belt here and here. Also on a number 1, this mandrel will be 3 inches in diameter, where on the other mills are smaller. I'll come up with some figures. Another way that you can tell number 3 mill is the carriages, when they're 15 foot, have 8 sets of axles. Excuse me, 6 sets of axles. Where all the other 15-foot carriages have 4 sets of axles. The timbers on these are 4 inches by 6 inches, is another way. Another way you can tell is they have this casting in the L here, where most of them just have an opening hole, which we'll go to later. So that's a couple different ways that you can tell a number 1. You could probably also tell by the part number on a number 1, except I don't see where it is. Oh, here it is, 672C, which is right in here. Now this particular mill here is a number 1, and I believe they just didn't mark it A, B, or C. This one has the guide wheels toward the saw side, where the number 1B, which this is a number 1B back here, has the guide wheels in the back of it. It's got the flat wheels in the front. Also, when you're looking at sawmills, this style tapered roller bearing means it's a newer, it's got this like hubcap style, which that means it's a lot newer than the other ones. Also on a number 1 mill, these wheels here are, I believe, 10 inches. Let me look at my book. Carriage wheels are 10 inches. On a double aught, they're 7. On an aught, they're 8. On an aught 1, they're 8. And on a number 1, they're 10-inch wheels. That's another way you can tell the difference. Also, when you're buying a mill, you want to see how much wear is in this part of the bed. This is called the bed. See how much wear. See, there's a little bit of wear in here. It's getting a little bit, but you can also tell wear on this new style setwork. See this, you can still read all the numbers. I don't know if it'll come up on the film, but you can see all the different numbers to set your pin at. Also on a number 1, this is the set shaft. The set shaft on a number 1 is 2 inches. The set shaft on all the others, I believe, hold on a second, carriage, set shaft is 1 11/16 on the other 3 sizes mill. The number 3 jumbo mill, okay, is the biggest mill Frick made. That one has a number 1 husk, but it has a wider opening. The opening, which would be, we'll go down to back here on this one over here. The opening is how far the head block will come back on the bed, or the L will come back on the bed. Okay, on a double aught, the opening is, hold on a second, 32 inches. On the single aught, it's 36 inches. On the aught 1 is 40 inches. On the number 1 is 44 inches. And on the number 3 jumbo is, I believe, 54 inches. I'd have to check on that to double. Also on the mills, the size collar. On the big number 1, they have a 6-inch collar. Now these could change from time to time. This is where it holds the blade. On the other mills, they're saying that it's a 4.5-inch, 4 3/4-inch collar on all the mills other than that. But I have seen bigger collars on smaller mills. It almost depends on the year mill that you're getting. Another thing that you want to look for, which is pretty important when you're getting a mill, is if there's bolts on top of the L. In the real old mills, the L or the L and the rack and pinion that this runs up and down were all one piece, and it was not adjustable. So it's pretty nice to have adjustable one. Also on a number 1, it's the only mill that has 3 different bolts in the back, 1, 2, 3, for adjusting it in and out to do a real fine tuning to make sure everything's in line in the front and straight. I'll show you another mill a little bit later on that is a double lot, has none of those on there. So if you have one with 1 screw, you'll either have a single lot or an aught 1. If you have no screws, you got a double lot mill. This is the newer style Setworks. This here is a power reseater, which I've never run a mill with a power reseater, but I guess they're pretty nice. I don't really care for one, but good thing to have. That's really about it on the mill. If you have a mill if you're having a mill and you want a long track, you want to make sure that your drum has full grooves in it to full length. If some of them are cut down like this, you can only run 45 foot of track. This one here is capable of running 85 feet of track. In the new mill we're putting up, it's going to have 80 foot of track and 30 foot of carriage. Now we'll go back and show you some of the things on a double aught mill.